So we're here at ETS17. I'm joined by Bashir Bseirani. My name's Austin Rosenbaum, and I'm a research analyst with Zpryme. And we're just going to do some quick questions about what we see in the industry and where we see it going. And I also want to kind of hear how that ties in with Avertra and what you're working on at Avertra. Tell me a little bit about that.
Thanks. Well, first of all, let me say thank you guys for giving us the opportunity to partner with you guys for ETS17 and for giving me the opportunity to take the stage and be part of one of the panels. Definitely looking forward to that. At Avertra, we really pride ourselves of being thought leaders in the industry. We're utility specialists who are basically problem solvers. And we solve the utility problems mainly on the distribution side, so that's a focus of ours. So we're not really heavy on the generation or the transmission, so mainly distribution, anywhere from the meter to cash life cycle and how it affects the home today. So through technology or through process redefinition and optimization, we actually help utilities meet today's demand of the customer, the regulators, and as well as their own internal goals to try to optimize and perform a higher level of customer satisfaction for their customers. So that's a little bit of a background about what we do with Avertra, and we feel it fits directly into what you guys are doing at ETS in terms of bringing a lot of leaders from industries like the software side to infrastructure, as well as the utility leaders all together under one roof to discuss how the current situations, whether it's social, geographic, economic, or even political, are impacting the energy industry. So thank you.
So our topic for ETS17 is really this design for energy. I want to know sort of what does that really mean to you, and how does that fit in with where we're going? How does that fit in with what Avertra is doing? And if you could just give me a little bit of
That's a great
insight.
question, right? So I would think different people would have different definitions for it, right? It all depends on perspective. So for us at Avertra, we look at design for energy in terms of how can we continuously design processes and technologies to support the change of the energy environment. Meaning, there's been a lot of evolution in things like fuel cell technologies, right? So how can we go from just pushing solar panels in terms of an alternate source of generation to having the gas companies start pushing out fuel cell technologies to their customers, whether industrial, commercial, apartments, or whatever it is. So there's different ways to solve the same problem. Also, how can we utilize things like deep learning, machine learning, Internet of Things, and sensors to understand more about our basically commodity life cycle, all the way from leaving the plant to reaching the home to it being used. So once you actually understand that and you have more data and more information, you're actually able to then pivot as a utility or as a service provider to utilities to offer the best and safest solution in the energy world. So from a design standpoint, we need to look at whether it's regulation, technology, financial goals that these utilities are hitting, and basically put together solutions to help drive that success.
So what are some of the different solutions and strategies that you're using at Avertra to really drive that success home?
Great. So we've developed, since we're a service and a product company, our services basically help transform business processes within the utility sector. Now, our products basically act as systems of innovation and aggregate multiple siloed systems. So in today's utility world, a lot of utilities have many disparate siloed systems, and they don't talk to each other, and there's a lot of manual processing. So what we've done is looked at the entire new construction to cash life cycle and created a layer of innovation that can go on top of any backend that the utility has without tying them into some of these long-term commitments just for them to get the innovation that they need. So we've designed a series of products under our My Utility platform, which is what we've called our platform, because specifically when we say My Utility, it's both the utility calling it its own utility and then the customer also calling it My Utility, right? So that's why we named it that. And we've been able to deploy systems for gas, water, and electric customers that have really helped innovate how they do business.
So, where are we going, and how are we going to get there? What are the next steps that utilities need to take, or what are the next steps that technology developers need to take in order to really get to the future, to get to that next level?
Absolutely. So where are we going is an interesting question. Mainly because I think at some point there's going to become a battle between the utilities. The water utility is going to be put on the side, but when you look at the gas and the electric industry, they're fighting for the same customer. A lot of electric retailers or electric customers are asking their customers to put away their gas appliances and switch to electric with certain benefits, while the gas industry is trying to do the same. So there is going to be a little bit of a battle there, and we're standing outside as technology and service providers and trying to see, how can we help both parties support the customer? Because at the end of the day, what's most important is providing a great commodity to the end consumer in a safe and reliable way, right? So there's going to be a lot of competition. It's going to be an extremely competitive market. And then also with, I would say, the new, for the United States specifically, the new business of mass export of liquid natural gas that now is becoming a booming business, and it's going to continue booming over the next probably 10 to 20 years. It's going to really change how the natural gas industry and the energy industry is looked at here in the United States. So we're really looking forward to that evolution. Now, if we look at it from a consumer standpoint, now that I have utilities battling for my business, I now have a lot more options.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which means the goal is, as an end consumer, is my paying out of pocket should become lower and lower and lower as time goes by. And I should be receiving more and more innovation from the utilities. Absolutely. Because they're now competing for my business. So it's a good time to be an energy consumer, right? And it's a good time to actually be in the energy business right now. So we see it as a healthy market right now.
So we sort of see the role of the consumer changing a little bit.
Absolutely.
Can you talk about how those changes are impacting your business, how they're impacting the utilities you're working with?
Yeah, so we actually think the consumer also has a responsibility towards the life cycle, right? By allowing the utilities to provide additional services like connecting with the connected home, understanding more about your use of the commodity, allowing things like the Google Nest or the Google Home, to actually integrate back into the utility to get the data needed to understand behavioral patterns better. So once the consumer actually enables the utility to have this data and puts away, a lot of people are going to say, oh, well, that's the big brother effect. Well, not really, right? We're actually asking, it's becoming an expectation from the consumer that the utility is going to help them save money. Well, for the only way that's going to happen, the utility needs to really understand, well, what appliances do you have? How do you use it? And they need to be intelligent about it because, for example, there's a direct correlation between your gas bill or your electric bill and how you shower or use hot water, right? Because most hot water heaters are either going to be electric-based or they're going to be gas-based. So if I want to now reduce my gas or electric bill, it's up to the utility to understand how I use my hot water to tell me, hey, well, if you actually shifted your shower schedule or if you actually changed when you wash your dishes, right? There's certain ways that you can now start saving, but without the data, the utilities aren't going to be able to do that. So I feel there is some sort of responsibility on the consumer to actually provide that bridge to the utilities. And we've built products for the consumers. One of our products is called My Home, where we can actually sit down and integrate with Alexa from Amazon, the Google Smart Homes, Philips Hue's, and all these different IoT-enabled devices to allow the utilities to get this data and information about the consumer, of course, with the acceptance of the consumer to provide this information. And then what we can do with that is we have another product called My Exchange that takes the goals of the consumers, the information about how their behavior and how they actually utilize the commodity, go against the market, and then give them recommendations of appliances they should switch out or what government credits are available for them to actually utilize and consume to be able to help them hit their either eco goal, right? A lot of people want to do this because they want to reduce their personal carbon footprint, and cost is not an issue. But then you have the other side of consumers that actually want it from a financial perspective. So we basically help both those consumers to actually figure out what's the best product out there to help them reach their goal. So with the combination of the data from My Home, and then we can take that data and put it against our My Exchange engine to give the best recommendations.
So just one last question for you, Bashir. As we're looking at ETS17, I want to know sort of, have you gleaned anything so far? What are you looking to see from ETS17? What are you looking forward to? Are there any? So
I just landed. So unfortunately, this is my first session at ETS. It's been pleasant so far. But I'm definitely looking forward to a few sessions to see some of my industry's peers' views on customer engagement. And also, there's a big focus in this conference about infrastructure, right? As everybody knows, utilities have aging infrastructure, and right now there's plans on how to become more proactive than reactive when it comes to actually predicting when to change certain assets in the field. And I'm really interested to see what certain vendors as well as utilities are doing, and what technologies, like are they using machine learning, are they using deep learning, are they using sensors and drones to do inspections across the horizon to see, well, hey, you know what, even though the manufacturer said this can last 10 years, I really think I need to change it in 5 because of the amount of volume that's going through this asset.
Yeah.
So that's something that I'm really looking forward to. And these are definitely sessions that I'm going to be attending today and tomorrow.
Well, looking forward to it. Bashir, thanks for joining
Absolutely.
us very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.